Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this video on a how-to combat warriors. Now, obviously I don't really make any videos on combat warriors, but that is mainly because I haven't felt like it. But this advice can be taken lightly from some of you guys, but from some others, like new players, I highly recommend you take some of this advice into the game. I'm level 209, but I don't have every weapon unlocked because I bought the Vanguard and Gold really early in the game. Or like a really early game. So yeah, I'm only on the dual Nagi, but I'm gonna give you guys some advice on what I think you should do, what weapons you should use, and basically just give you some tips and tricks. So yeah, I guess let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing I want you to do is install a thing known as a Roblox FPS Unlocker. I will go ahead and put up a little quick YouTube tutorial, or not a YouTube tutorial, but a quick tutorial on how to install it now. You can see that I am going to this website that will be linked in the description and clicking this link right here. Once you click that link, you wait for it to install and then you just open it and it should instantly close. Once it is instantly closed, you're good to go to join any Roblox game and your frames should be much higher, as you can see right here. DPI or with high sensitivity. So keep that in mind. You might need to go ahead and get used to playing with higher sensitivity inside of Combat Warriors. Now, the next trick I will show you guys, or rather tell you guys about, is the weapons and the utilities. Now, the weapons inside of Combat Warriors is a lot. You can choose between any of these ones as long as you have them unlocked, including ranged, and ranged actually has a little extra weapon here called the Dual Claws. So that's always fun. But personally, I recommend you use heavy weapons because heavy actually requires a little extra skill to use. But that's just a personal opinion. You might think that light weapons require skill. Obviously, ranged weapon requires a lot of skill because I have basically no kills with these things because I suck booty cheeks with them. And if you're wondering why I sound a bit shaky, it's because I am currently sick. And I am just making this video because I saw some guy giving some tips and tricks. But yeah, so highly recommend you using heavy weapons, and the heavy weapons I recommend you using in the beginning of the game is probably going to be one of the axes, because these axes deal a lot of damage early game. I mean, you have a this, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like the so once you've installed this FPS unlocker, you will have a little extra frame rate to kind of play around with. And if you have seen these like really big YouTubers like Stud, Elemental, Divided, Bloom, and so on and so forth, how they do like super jumping, that's basically how you do the super jump. You gotta have an FPS unlocker. I don't really know how it works. If you need to know how it works, then just ask someone. Hold on, let me just get rid of this fucking info because we don't need that. Yeah, if you want to know how it works, just go ahead and Google it or something. But basically, just a quick tutorial on how to super jump. People say that you have to run, but you don't actually have to run. You can literally, for whatever reason, you can just walk. And once you're starting to walk, you want to roll. Mid-roll, I'm talking about when your forehead hits the ground. So right there, you go ahead and jump and spin. Only in one direction. Don't be spinning in all directions, because I mean it does work if you're quick enough, but it doesn't really give you any extra advantage. Just spin quickly one direction. And the thing is, this basically only works with high. It's the 10th weapon, and it already deals 41 damage with a 1.73 second slash cooldown. And the skills you don't really need to worry about if you're new to the game, because they're pretty hard to get in the beginning. So don't worry about the skills. Once you got to higher damaged weapons, you can get them, because then it's going to be easier to actually get. But yeah. Now, the weapons I recommend you using altogether is going to be the bow staff is a really simple and fun weapon to use to like learn the basics of the game. Fire Axe is really nice because it has a pretty quick slash reset delay for being a heavy weapon and really nice damage. Spear is good because it has 40 damage at the 4th weapon or 5th. Yeah, that's the 5th. I'm dumb. This thing, obviously. The Brute Mace because it has really nice damage. The Riot Shield, Battle Axe, Trident, Palm Axe, Cannabo, or Cannaboa, however you pronounce it. Curved Greatsword, depending on what you're going for, like for playstyle. If you want to have sword, then you use Greatsword because this thing is gooched out. Warhammer, Naginata, this fucking thing, Heavy Scythe, and Dual Naginata, and then obviously Colossal, Glaive, Dragon, and Yoru. But that's for the heavy. For the light weapons, you can basically use whichever ones you want. They're all basically equally as good. Some of them deal more damage, some of them have faster slash cooldowns, some of them deal more damage per second, and some of them are just downright broken. Looking at you, you son of a bitch. And ranged weapons, these require a little more skill to use, so if you aren't trying to literally become a Navy SEAL sniper when you grow up, I wouldn't recommend using this. But yeah, anyway, so now on to the utilities. Now, you should always have a kunai with you. Kunais are extremely useful because if someone's trying to run away, you can literally snipe them. Basically cross map. Oh, there's an airdrop. And then I recommend having some type of explosive and some type of healing or like stamina splash. We'll get to those later. The splash potions. We'll get to those later. But basically the C4 is really handy because these C4s stick to wherever you throw them, and you can actually pick it up if you didn't like where you threw it. And you can stick it on people. You can stick it to walls or roofs, wherever you want. And with a simple click of a button, it detonates with a slight cooldown, and then it actually activates. And then the health potion gives you a tiny bit of health if you use it. And the radio you don't really need to worry about because that's a game pass. I wasted too much money on this game. But yeah. Anyway, so now comes to the harder parts, which is parrying. Parrying in this game is really useful because if you really learn how to master it, it can become extremely handy in a fight. Say, for example, you're getting ganged up on by 2 people. You can parry one of them, and then the other guy will obviously see that you parried one of them, so he'll move in to try and get a sneaky hit in. But if you're fast enough to react, you can actually parry both of them at the same time, because as soon as you parry someone in this game, your parry resets a lot quicker. If you look down here at my parry cooldown, you can see how slow it is. But if you parry someone, basically that parry cooldown will be almost instant, which is really handy inside of some fights. But yeah, just be careful. People like to parry bait a lot in this game. And parry baiting is basically when you act like you're going to attack someone, but in reality you don't attack someone. You just act like you're going to, so they parry you, and then you can get a free hit in. So yeah, that's parry baiting in a simpler term. And if you want, if this tutorial is a bit confusing for you, then go ahead and actually choose someone else because I am extremely terrible at explaining things. I just decided to make this video because I am extremely bored, and my sleep schedule is screwed. So I was like, why not? But yeah, and then we have, let's see here. Yes, the disasters. How can we forget about these things? These things are basically only useful if your mom and dad are rich and or if you are rich. Because either you buy them for Bobucks or you get them inside of a wheel spin, which you can also buy for Bobucks. Then we have the specs, which is just an RPG that gives you 8 shots instead of 4 inside of the airdrop that you can get from time to time. And then the Tommy gun, which is basically just a spray and pray and hope for the best. And it's, not gonna lie, pretty annoying. But yeah. So now let's get into some of the support utilities like bandages, medkits, and stuff like that. Ghost Potion is useful if you want to be a little sneaky bastard. Flashbang is useful if you want to flash someone and like sneak up on them. The gas can is useful if you want to piss on someone. The Stamina Splash is actually extremely useful. Because if you are in a fight, you can see down here my stamina is being used up a lot. So if you're in a fight, you quickly run out of stamina. But with the Stamina Splash, you can actually keep going for a lot longer. And the fucking awesome thing about the Stamina Splash is as soon as the duration of the effect actually runs out, you gain back all of your stamina instantly. So it is extremely useful. And then we have the poison, damage, and slowness ones, which are basically only useful if you are trying to become extremely annoying. I don't personally use them because C4, in my opinion, is better. But yeah, I mainly use Health Splash and just Kunai and C4 because that works the best for me. But then again, it's all suited to playstyle. If you want to be an annoying prick, then take every single splash potion in the game and then just chuck it at people. Take the damage, poison, and the slowness, and boom, you got yourself a fucking hell of a fight. Especially for the opposing person. The chainsaw is an extremely, in my opinion, no-skill weapon. Like, all you do is basically just, like, go up to people, like, hold your mouse one button, and then just watch your, like, score go up. What else is there to think? I've talked about weapons, utilities, useful stuff. Oh yeah, when you actually parry someone, you can press Q in front of them to kick them down, and then you can press Q again to stomp them to reduce their health a little bit. So say, for example, you parry someone, punch them, kick them down. They're still going to be on a bit of health, so you can stomp on them to bring down their health even more. And then we have this handy-dandy little thing known as Force Glory Kill. Now, Force Glory is basically only used for, like, higher-tier weapons, like the Dual Naginata. The Dual Nagi is... But the Dual Naginata is a 2-hit weapon if you don't count the Force Glory. So you can basically hit people twice, and boom, they will be at such low health that you can press G while nearby, and they will Force Glory Kill them. Which basically means that you can Glory Kill someone without them being downed. Which could be useful in fights in the future if you see someone at extremely low health. I'm talking about in the red. And I mean really in the red. Not like like orange-ish red. I'm talking hold on, wait, let me show you if I can. This, however, can be Force Glory. So you just gotta be careful with when you try and Force Glory because sometimes it may not work. Just be careful with it. And this game is basically all about predicting the enemy's move. So that's a really tough thing to learn. That's at least a few, like, maybe 100 hours just to learn how to predict people's playstyles. I mean, after a few fights, you basically learn how other players fight. I mean, it takes me around 1 to 2 times to figure out how the opposing player fights. And then I can easily counter it, and then they have to switch up their strategy, and then I just adapt to that strategy. It's basically just a, I have to adapt to your strategy before you adapt to mine type situation. And how can we forget about the awesome RP motherfucking G? This thing is a beast, because it is literally a shootable C4. Except I think this thing has a little more damage to it. And I would show you guys the skills, but there's so many videos of the skills on YouTube now. If you just want to learn how to use the skills and just Google how to do it, I can't bother to charge my laptop just to get my alt account on here to show you how to do this. So if you want a more in-depth tutorial, I highly recommend checking out other creators because, again, I am extremely terrible at explaining stuff. But before I go, I forgot to say, slash reset delay can also be set to 0 to only swing in one direction every single time, which is mainly useful for heavy weapons, but it should always be left to 1 if you're using light weapons, because it gives you a wider range of attack, except if you're using, like, spear or some shit like that, or lands. That doesn't really matter. But yeah, and then also if you want to see how wide your like range is, you turn on this thing in the settings down here, known as debug mode, and you get a little warning because it may cause some lag. But you can also see how wide your swings are, so you can more easily adapt to how you should actually play the game with it. And just keep in mind, there's a lot of toxic players in this game, and there's a lot of people who just live to make fun of you in this game. So don't be deterred from this because one person was toxic or a few people were. There are just some bad apples inside of this game. Every game has some bad apples. I mean, crying out loud, even Adopt Me has bad apples. So, yeah. This game is mainly about gore, violence, and murder. So don't get upset if someone kills you for no reason. Even if you did nothing to them, it's the point of the game. So go ahead and, if you don't want to be absolutely brutally murdered every time you join a game, then this game is probably not for you. Anyway, I'm gonna go and leave the video right here. If you did enjoy this episode by some miracle, I would highly suggest you subscribing and leaving a like to hopefully help me achieve my dream of becoming a full-time content creator. And yeah, everything that I told you in this video, like every link and stuff I told you to go to, will be in the description. And if you have any personal questions you would like to ask outside of the YouTube comment section, my Discord will also be in the bio. Or in the description, I guess. I'm so used to TikTok, Jesus. So, yeah. Go ahead and leave your questions down below or ask them directly to me on Discord. Keep in mind, I am constantly on Do Not Disturb, so it may take me some time to even realize you added me as a friend or sent me a message. And, yeah. I appreciate you for stopping by and checking out this horrendous video. And I will see you guys next time.